As we age, as we get older, we would love to continue getting older, as opposed to the alternative, of course. So what can those of you who are in the geriatric population, those of you who are elderly, do in terms of lifestyle and supplements, which we're going to majorly talk about here, to promote healthy aging? Well, when it comes to healthy aging, we have three things that Examine says are the top core supplements to promote healthy aging and reduce your risk for things like heart disease and type 2 diabetes and dementia and muscle wasting. And we got protein, we have vitamin D3, and we have magnesium. So let's talk about them a little bit here. When it comes to protein, well, sarcopenia or muscle wasting is associated with an increased risk of death in general, of mortality, poor quality of life, and disability. And so it's important to have enough protein to maintain muscle mass and to do resistance training as we get older. Take it easy. Hey, they're having too much fun out here. So protein's important for those reasons, right, among others. Now, when it comes to how much protein you should have, well, that depends on what you do. What type of category do you fall into? If you are somebody that has a sedentary lifestyle and is otherwise healthy, no less than 55% of your body weight in grams per day. And this is, again, for the elderly. That's what Examine says. If you are somebody that lives a healthy lifestyle and is active and looking to build some more muscle mass and you resistance train and things like that, really probably no less than your body weight in grams per day of protein. So that's 1 gram per pound of body weight, just your body weight in grams, right? That one's easy. Now, if you're somebody that is on bed rest, or you just had surgery, or you had an injury recently, then no less than 75% of your body weight in grams of protein. Vitamin D3. Vitamin D3 is important for bone health and immunity, but it's also important for muscle strength, muscle function, muscle size, right? And again, we see this correlation here. Muscle's important, bone's important, and we're going to talk about that in a second here. How much vitamin D3? 50 micrograms should do the trick. So if you can get 50 micrograms in a supplement, or if you could just get a lot of sunlight, that would, be the best, right? Of course. And getting your protein from whole food from nature, of course, eating a lot of fish and meat and things of that nature would be best. But when it comes to vitamin D, also food sources like fish, salmon has the most, I believe, and, fortified dairy products, things like that. So we have protein, we have vitamin D, we have magnesium, and definitely, last but definitely not least here is magnesium. Now listen to this list. Heart disease, type 2 diabetes mellitus, osteoporosis, Alzheimer's. Those are all really big things, right? They are all strongly associated with magnesium deficiency. Did you know that? Right? And so magnesium is very important for your metabolism. We talk about type 2 diabetes and regulating blood sugar and insulin sensitivity and things like that. It's really important for your brain and reducing your risk for Alzheimer's. It's really important for your bones. Again, reducing your risk for osteoporosis. And it's really good for your heart as well. This, not to mention, magnesium also is involved in muscle strength, in muscle contraction, right? And so it can help you to maintain muscle mass over time if you are one of these people who is, in their geriatric years. Now, know this, 70% of women over 80 years old and 80% of men over 80 years old are deficient in magnesium. So before we even talk about how much you should take in a supplement, spoiler alert, like 350 milligrams, look at recommended daily amounts for your age group and sex, right? What foods are high in magnesium? Well, we have things like fish, we have nuts and seeds and leafy greens and avocado. Those are 5 really good ones that could help to give you a lot of magnesium. Chia seeds are loaded with magnesium. If you want some real quick, you pop some chia seeds. I believe a tablespoon has like a quarter of your daily value, almost. They're really amazing food. So we can't forget, too, that you don't want to be deficient in other vitamins and minerals, and namely vitamin K, vitamin B9, and vitamin B12. Now, this is different than what they said last year on Examine for the top supplements for healthy aging, right? Blueberries didn't necessarily make the cut. Omega-3s didn't necessarily make. Doesn't mean these things aren't great for you and aren't important. These are just the primary top 3 options when it comes to supplementation for healthy aging if you're somebody that is older and looking to live longer and add life to years, right? So we can't emphasize enough muscle and bone health here. And it's interesting because, well, that makes a lot of course, brain health and heart health and everything, right? But when we talk about muscle and bone, as we age, a lot of people, they try to eat healthy. And yeah, like eating the rainbow's great and getting a lot of fiber and feeding your gut, that's all really important. And reducing inflammation and all these great, and getting a lot of sleep and being less stressed, and all these things. And we say movement in itself, but maintaining muscle mass is really more important than a lot of people realize, right? And we talked recently about a trial that showed that people that did 6 to 12 repetitions, meaning, they were doing 60 to 75% of their 1 rep max, or 75 to 80 something percent. It was a lot of weight, right? When they're working out, they're really testing themselves. And they were in the geriatric population. They had improvements in strength 4 years later when they, analyzed everybody and, did the follow-up, right? So, it's really important to test yourself as you get older, to maintain muscle mass, and all these things happen to help that, and also your bones, right? So that's what we got for you guys today. Who do we got? Yeah, magnesium. Yeah, it's GABAergic. So gamma-aminobutyric acid is the major, is what relaxes you, is what he said, if you guys didn't see his statement. And so gamma-aminobutyric acid helps to relax you and just, prevent your mind from racing. Which type of magnesium crosses the blood-brain barrier to the greatest degree? That would be threonate. Threonate, magnesium threonate, right? Magnesium oxide is probably the one that's lowest on the list we'd like to avoid. It could cause digestive upset. I even know some nurse practitioners, they use it as a laxative, so because it's a smooth muscle relaxer, magnesium also, right? So people will use it for muscle spasm and cramps, things like that too. But it's definitely a great supplement to take. A lot of people are deficient in magnesium, and yeah, it can help to relax you too, and can help to improve sleep also. Mariano, what's up, brother? Love you, man. Mano salva, Mianchi. Sabia. Hello, pretty girl. How you doing? Mr. Gowans, what's up? Joey. What's up, man? I love you. I got to come out there this winter and do some snowboarding. That's actually on my calendar. I hope you know that, so that I wouldn't forget. DeVraw. I'm Greg Nelson. I'm Shane Wend. Medina. Sabrina, what's up? Erica, how you doing? A.O. House and Kevin Joseph and John B. Bonbon. As for now, so we got for you, folks. We'll see you tomorrow, baby. Not sure where, not sure when, but we'll see you then. Have an amazing rest of your day. Thank you very much, and happy Wen Wellness. You're only taking 240 milligrams. Well, John, you know what? The most important thing is to look at all the foods, types of foods I was mentioning, and look up a list of foods that are really high in magnesium. And if you're getting a lot of magnesium from the diet, I would recommend you get tested to see, what your levels are, first and foremost. But if you don't want to do that, at least eat foods that are high in magnesium. And, supplementing with 240 milligrams on top should be sufficient if you're getting ample amounts from the diet, right? So, Examine says you typically don't want to supplement with more than, say, 350 milligrams, right, of magnesium in a day, because it relaxes your intestines a lot, could cause digestive upset and things like that. Is it necessarily bad for you? No, it could just be uncomfortable for certain people. But if you get one of the better versions of magnesium, glycinate, diglycinate, gluconate, citrate, lactate, malate, threonate, again, if it's more of a cognitive thing you're looking for, relaxing your brain, that stuff is all good, right? But look at the RDA, for your demographic and see how much you should be getting. Adult men, some of them, you'll fall into the demographic of like 400 or 450 up to 450 milligrams, something like that in a day. And most women, adults, it's like 350 or something of that nature. So I hope that answered your question. Just have my super. You feeling great? Yeah. Dude, you do. Please, I'll bring some in if you want. You using glycinate. Good. Yeah, that's a good one. And Andrew, thank you for hopping on. We'll see you guys later. Mariano, I gotta see your ass soon, and I'll bring you some of that. Have a great day. See ya. Thanks.